is time now to visit with our Bears insider, Chicago Tribune Bears beat writer Dan Wiederer, starting with his take on the shortcomings when the Bears have the ball.
Regardless of who's at quarterback, what's the state of this Bears offense right now, Dan?
Yeah, JP, are you familiar with the state of disarray? The state of confusion? That's where we're at right now with this Bears offense. We have no idea who the quarterback is heading into week 4 or who it's going to be for the next few games. We have no idea who the play caller is. I'm going to give you some numbers just to tie a bow on September after another lackluster month by this offense. The Bears are 32nd. That's dead last in the league, as you know, in total yards, 31st in total points, 31st in first downs, tied for 31st in sacks allowed, 28th in third down conversion rate, 26th in the red zone. That's an absolute mess, and these problems shouldn't be persisting for an organization, a coaching staff, an offense that has promised solutions and seemingly can't ever find them.
Well, Matt Nagy seems to be under a lot of pressure, and that seat underneath him is really, really hot, especially when it comes to the offensive shortcomings. But is it justified, you think?
Well, look, if we're making a pie chart in terms of who is culpable for this offensive stagnancy, there's no way it's fair to give Matt Nagy 100% of that pie. But does he deserve a majority of it? Does he deserve a vast majority of it? Absolutely. Matt is the author of this playbook. He is the overseer of this offense. He has been the play caller for most of his time here in Chicago. And we continue to talk about this offense needing an identity. They don't have one. Needing rhythm. They don't have any. They finished the month of September with 3 offensive touchdowns in 3 games. That's not good enough. And Jarrett, this is not just about this year. This is about 3+ years of struggle. It's about 4 different starting quarterbacks that Matt has tried his hand with and has been unable to unlock answers. And here we go. 53 games, including the playoffs in Matt Nagy's tenure. 22 times the offense has failed to score a touchdown in the first half. That's almost, that's more than 40% of the time that they don't even get in the end zone in the first half. 31 times in those 53 games, they have failed to score more than 20 points. In the modern NFL, that's not enough. And again, this isn't about this year. This is about 3+ years of searching for this solution and this identity and this rhythm, and it's still not there. And so Matt has to answer for that for sure.
The Bears defense on the flip side has been a mixed bag this year as well. How would you grade them so far after 3 games?
Yeah, I think we were very clear coming out of the opener that they weren't good enough in LA. I think they've played pretty well the last 2 weeks. I thought they played pretty well in Cleveland. One of the miracles of that game, with an offensive performance as absolutely repulsive as it was, the Bears went into the 4th quarter of that game trailing 13-6, right? They're right there in that football game if you have any sort of offensive output to keep you alive in that game. Eventually, if you're on the field for 40 minutes, if you're on the field for 80 plays, the fatigue is gonna set in physically, emotionally, the frustration, it's there. And so naturally they gave up some points in that 4th quarter. But I think the defense has been solid overall. The pass rush was there. 5 sacks. You look at those 2 4th down stops they got early in that game that should have been momentum turners to keep that team in a game. They weren't enough because the offense can't get unlocked. And so eventually this defense needs help.
Well, the Lions are 0-3 on the season so far, but they seem to be a solid matchup for this Bears squad that's looking to bounce back. What have you seen from them in those 3 losses?
Well, you look back at their most recent loss Sunday, and they've got the Ravens in 4th and 19, pinned deep in their own territory with less than a half minute to go in the game. You said there's no way that any NFL team can lose that game. Oh yeah, the Lions can lose that game, right? They give up a long 30+ yard completion followed by an NFL record 66-yard field goal that, oh, by the way, very Bears-like, it hits the crossbar, but this one goes over the crossbar for the game-winning kick for the Ravens. I think what you see with the Lions right now is a team with a first-year coach that doesn't have a lot of firepower offensively, that's trying to figure out who it is and what its identity is. Defensively, you look at a pass rush that can challenge the Bears, and certainly after you give up 9 sacks, every pass rush is going to challenge you somewhat, but they're vulnerable in the secondary. And so if the Bears can get any sort of protection for whatever quarterback is back there, behind the line on Sunday afternoon, they should be able to attack down the field, score some points, and get well with a home game against the worst team in the division.
Given the Bears' upcoming schedule, I know you and I talked about this last week. This game is going to be very, very important for them. How big is it for them, and who do you think is going to win?
When you have a division game against an opponent that you're going to be expected to beat, you have to take advantage of this. If they walk out of this game on Sunday evening, Jarrett, at 1-3, you can sense the free fall about to occur, right? There's going to be frustration in that locker room. There's going to be frustration in this city. There's a schedule that's waiting to greeting them that is going to be really, really brutal. I think we're both in agreement after this stage that this is not a team that's in contention for anything meaningful in 2021. But to keep this season from becoming an absolute disaster, you have to win the games you're supposed to win. Sunday is one of those games. I think there's enough talent and enough character in this locker room to get it done. I'll give you a 20-16 final. The Bears skate by and buy a little bit more time before they go into that brutal stretch of 6 games.
Thanks, Dan. And we send our condolences out to you, your family, and the friends of your father, Al Wiederer, who passed away last week. Big Al liked to start every Bears game day with 2 words: fire up. He will be missed, and his legacy lives on through you.